Welcome everybody. Welcome to my sacred circle. Welcome to Drawing Down the Moon system of Reiki. And welcome to Healing with Ki. This is another instructional video in a series of about 60 videos that will be coming out over the next year. In this series, we'll introduce the 54 cards in my new oracle deck called Healing with Ki. We'll talk about the meaning and the frequency introduced in each card, and we'll learn techniques to connect to that specific frequency of universal Ki. Over the last month or so, we have introduced 4 cards. The first was in bulk, New Beginnings, and we set intentions for our year and a day of training. We thought about what we wanted to do and what we wanted to connect with and what strengths we had to connect with those energies, to reach those goals, and to help ourselves get to where we want to be. Then we connected with the full moon, and we recognized everything we had to be grateful for, and we requested a deep connection with the moon goddess. Then we talked about card 1, which is releasing anger as the moon shrinks. Today we're going to talk about card 2, which is releasing anxiety on the new moon. And then moving forward, we'll be moving into energies that we want to increase in our experience in this world. So let's get started. My name is Lisa Ayres. I'm a holistic healer. I am a Reiki master teacher. I am a practicing pagan. I've been working with Ki for over 25 years. I am also an aromatherapist, nutritionist. I work with herbs. I work with crystals. I work with color therapy in my healing. And of course, I work with intuition. So what are the Healing with Ki cards? The Healing with Ki cards are my life's work, curated into a set of 54 inspirational and educational lessons. Each card is connected to a different teaching about universal Ki in our existence. The cards, the companion book, and this video series are created to be tools of empowerment and inspiration for you. You can use them to read for other people, but they're really meant for you, a tool for you to heal and balance yourself and connect with different ways of connecting with the universe. You'll find several more instructional videos on my YouTube channel, which I've made for my students over the years. Feel free to browse. There's all kinds of videos on there. I designed this healing package not only to shed light on the issues that need your attention right now as you pull the card, but also to guide you in connecting with the correct frequencies to balance your imbalances. Because when we heal our own systems, we then heal the greater world around us. When we use our inner work to shift our outer energy, we shift the multiple layers of our existence surrounding our souls. Each card offers an exercise, a meditation, or a ritual to help you heal your inner and your outer worlds. Let's talk a little bit about Reiki, because I know it scares people when they hear about Reiki. I don't have Reiki. I don't know how to connect to Reiki. I don't want to connect to Reiki. That's fine. I designed these cards specifically to be used by anyone because we do not need to be attuned to a specific system to connect to our human rights, to connect to that life force energy that's available to everyone. So you do not need to be attuned to Reiki to utilize and learn from these cards in this series. But if you are attuned to Reiki, I will absolutely guide you how to use that tool to deepen this experience and to use this tool to deepen your Reiki experience. So today we're talking about card number 2, which is a Reiki principle. And that principle is just for this moment. Can I let go of anxiety and worry? And the vibe is joy and acceptance and trust. What are the Reiki principles? The Reiki precepts, also known as principles or admonitions, are rules that we live by to ensure good health and good luck. Our founder, Mikao Usui, said, "This is surely the secret process to bring good fortune and also a miraculous medicine to remedy any kinds of diseases." The principles have become daily mantras for many Reiki practitioners. Through these admonitions, we learn to live in this moment, free of unhealthy emotions, which cloud our experience, which create unhealthy vibrations out into our energetic field. Master Usui taught his students to incorporate these principles into their daily activities and into their daily meditation. And the purpose was to encourage health, mental and physical, and balance, mental and physical. The principles serve as a basic tenet for treating ourselves and all other living beings. The precepts are stated in simplistic terms, but in fact they're quite complex if you think about them. Think about this. They are signs pointing the way to spiritual development. Don't worry, don't fret, don't get caught up. They're a set of moral and ethical standards. They are strategies to facilitate harmonious interpersonal relationships. If you're a ball of anxiety, it's not good for your personal relationships. They're also guidelines to basic preventative medicine, and they're aids to mindfulness and living in the moment. They are our guideposts to healthy and happy lifestyle, and they're taught as part of the first lesson of Reiki to all students. The precepts are loosely based upon Buddhist teachings to remain in the moment, to be where your feet are. They remind us that it's not what happens to us that defines our lives, but rather how we react to life circumstances that makes us who we are. And we have a choice as to how we react. These experiences determine how harmonious and peaceful our lives can be. And they teach us that we're in control of our own lives and our own health. You can think of the principles more like a path towards Buddha nature. Buddha nature is your divine power that we all naturally possess inside of us. And to find that Buddha nature within yourself, all we're asked to do is look inside. The answers aren't outside, the answers are inside. So Master Usui taught us to sit in Gassho, in prayer position, and to feel each ideal in our hearts. What does it feel like to be free of worry and anxiety? A lot of us in today's day and age want to know what that feels like. And Reiki encourages us to get there and gives us the tools to get there. And he also asked us to speak the principles out loud twice a day, morning and evening. Remind us, I'm going to live my life this way. I choose to live my life this way. And I choose to forgive myself for maybe not living my life the way that I had thought I would in the morning, and understanding that I have the choice to do better tomorrow. So, tip. The principles are actually phrased just for today, but I love to say just for this moment. Right now, while I'm conscious of what's happening, I choose to be happy. I choose to be calm. I choose to be empathetic. I choose to not overthink. I choose to get my facts straight. I choose to be curious and ask questions. I always like to offer honor and recognition to my past teachers and mentors who have helped. And this particular lesson comes very clearly from Reiki Way of the Heart by Walter Lubeck. It is an old book. It's not in print anymore, but if you find it, it's a fantastic book worth reading. So just for this moment, can we let go of anxiety and worry? The vibe is joy, acceptance, trust, and it reminds us of the life-affirming benefits of living in joy. If we're consumed by our worries, we're not focusing on what's in front of us. We're closing ourselves off from the experiences of happiness that we could be experiencing. And we're actually then shutting ourselves off from life itself if we get spiraled into worry and anxiety. Let me give you an example. Yesterday I filmed last week's video and I asked for help because it was a different kind of video, and my husband has some experience with videography and my daughter has some experience, quite a bit of experience with makeup artistry, and they were very helpful, but they are much more high-tech and much more experienced than I am, and they were asking me all these questions and it was stressing me out. I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm not doing this. Oh my gosh, I'm not doing that. Oh, it's not working. And it totally stressed me out. And to be honest, I don't know that I love last week's video. But what I learned from that experience, even though I was getting stressed out, is afterwards in the editing process, their questions and their tips came very much in handy. And I was able to calmly sit down, think about what they were saying, and apply those lessons and learn a whole bunch of new techniques and things that I didn't even know were possible. Everything happens for a reason. And if you are calm enough to step out of the emotion and observe what's happening and ask curious questions, you're going to experience way more in life. So I just wanted to share that with you. Even we're learning constantly. Part of our life is to learn and be curious. And if you take that curious approach to life, it's much more interesting. It's way less stressful. And it's much more interactive with the people around you, which is awesome. We allow them to help us and we allow ourselves to help them. Rather than worrying and stressing out, we approach life with curious excitement. So think about what's happening when you're in anxiety and worry. We're down regulating our energetic systems. We're bringing ourselves down by getting stuck in this loop. The joy of living in the moment is that each moment can be different. So I can notice, hey, I'm bringing myself down. I'm thinking about this too much. I'm not stepping back. I'm not taking a breath. I'm clearly ungrounded. What can I do to get myself back into a space that I'm comfortable in? And then I can start to ask those questions again to gain control over my experience of my life in that moment. So by refocusing my mind on what matters the most to me in that moment, which hopefully is the beauty and the joy and the experience of life in front of you, then you're going to actually be able to experience that joy and life and experience in front of you instead of blocking yourself off from feeling it fully. This is the essence of living in our Buddha nature. So when we choose, and I know I've been there, and when people said to me, just choose to be happy, I was like, what? Expletive, expletive, expletive. You don't know what you're talking about. But I have learned that I can take a step back out of that anxiety. I can take a step back out of that worry. I can learn to ground myself. I can learn to slightly shift the vibe that my energetic body is currently in. I can choose to change it. It takes a lot of practice, especially if you're down low. I get it. I've been there. But believe me, the practice, the effort is worth it. The effort is worth it. So we can choose to disrupt the flow of ki in our bodies. If a very down-regulated flow of ki is happening in our bodies, we can actually alter that flow of energy all around us and in our own body. Think about it. A positive mood is contagious. So is a negative mood. It can change the vibe of an entire room. Emotion also clouds our judgment and skews our view of the outside world. When we're anxious, when we're worried, when we're thinking about all the things that can go wrong, this easily drags us further and further down. But it can also drag us further and further up if we change the questions we're asking. So we would be wise to be aware of the power of our emotions to alter our own view of the world, to alter our experience of what's around us. This universal truth shows us the power of emotion. And it also shows us how we can use our emotion, our energy healing, and our manifestation work. We can use our emotion to drastically affect those works. Emotion attracts like emotion. Energy attracts like energy. Ki attracts like ki. If you want more positivity in your life, send that positive experience out into the world. What you send out comes back to you threefold, right? The wise recognize this fact, and they're conscious of their thought patterns in each and every moment. That doesn't mean that every single moment you're thinking about what's happening, but you are training your brain, training your thoughts, creating new patterns in your neural patterning. That when you're feeling stressed, when you're going down the wrong path, to take a step back and ask different questions. Shift the energy. Bring in a crystal. Bring in a meditation. Go for a walk in the woods. Shift the energy. So, how are we going to do that? On the night of the next dark moon, the next new moon, which is the night that this video will be posted, try the ritual that we're going to go through next to let go of that deep-seated worry and anxiety. First thing we do is ritually cleanse ourselves. So how are we going to do that? Well, let's stand up. I think for this one, I really like angel wings. Okay, angel wings is all about intention. It's using your arms to represent your angel wings and using your angel wings to clear away that energetic junk, those dust bunnies, that yuck in each of the chakras. So let's start first and foremost by grounding and centering ourselves. So plant your feet really solidly on the ground. You can bend your knees just very slightly so that they're not locked, and you can bounce a little bit to feel your center of gravity, your hara, your power center. Feel that center in your body. Breathe energy into that center. Pull the energy up to your heart center. Draw the energy out into your wings. Sweep your wings up to your crown chakra. Sweep 3 times. Imagine just removing anything that's getting in the way of flow of energy for you, flow of ki. Move down to your third eye. Again, sweeping the third eye clear, because you really want to have some good insight for this ritual. Moving down to the throat, clearing away the throat chakra, anything that's preventing communication or expression of your needs. Sweeping away the heart chakra, clearing away anything that's blocking positive relationships, nurturing. Sweeping down to the solar plexus. The solar plexus is our intellect. So sweeping, it's also our protection center. And this is a center that we often use to shield and protect ourselves, and it gets gunked up and it creates blocks. So think about this center as you're clearing for this ritual. The next is the navel, which is all about emotion, anxiety, depression, stress, worry. It's here. Sweep that clear. And then the last, of course, is the root chakra. Now, the root chakra can also hold some anxieties and stress. These ones, though, are more about life, home, money, these kinds of worries. Survival stuff. So clear that all out. And then reach down to the ground. Release your energy into the earth, thanking Mother Earth for her help, and asking her to support you and drawing up that nurturing energy, sweeping it up, over, and down the back as well. And then just feel how different you feel. The next thing you want to do is ritually cleanse your space. So we're doing this so that we feel safe in our space, so that there's nothing that's going to get in the way of our experience, so that we are creating a sacred space to do this ritual in. You can do this any way you like. You can do it just with thought, by pulling that energy into your dantian, really gathering up quite a large amount, imagining it between your hands, creating like an electric ball between your hands, and then imagining that ball expanding out into your space. So now you have a sphere of clear possibilities, clear space for the new energy to come in that you are inviting in intentionally. Not just what's kind of stuck onto you as you walk down in life, but the energy that you're intentionally bringing in and asking to be a part of your life. Then we create a sacred circle. Again, you can do this any way that is right for you in your practice. We'll do a basic 7-point circle today. That's my favorite way to do it. And what you're going to do is, again, ground and center yourself. Recognize the sphere of potential around you. Set your intention for the work today, which is to recognize your anxieties and release them. Pull in the universal key. Pull in that energy again into your power center. Turn your attention to the north. Imagine a doorway. If you have Reiki symbols, good symbols to use now are Chikyū or Kriya. Imagine that doorway is closed. Draw any protective and welcoming symbols on that door to the north, at the north end of your sphere. Open that door up and call out to the healers of the north to be present with you here in this circle. Ask them to join you to help you in releasing this anxiety that's holding you back. Set the intention and welcome them in. And then close the door behind them, not allowing any other energy in that isn't going to serve you. And then just take a moment to recognize that presence, that new energy here in your space. Now we turn to the east, northeast. East is air. Same process. Imagine that door. Imagine that sacred symbol. Open that door up and call out to the healers of the East. Welcome them in. Tell them what you're doing. Ask them for help. Close the door behind them, not allowing anything in that isn't going to serve you. Acknowledge their presence and be grateful. And then turn to the south. South is fire. Transformation. Burning up of things that no longer serve us. Same thing. Imagine that doorway with your sacred symbols on the doorway. You could do an invoking pentagram. There are invoking pentagrams for each element. You could do some research and choose the invoking pentagram for each doorway, if that's what you prefer. It's a great way to do it. Open the southern door and invite in the healers of the south and fire to help you transform into the person you want to be. Let them know about your intention. Ask them for help. Close the door behind them, knowing that nothing but positive energy comes through that doorway. Energy that's going to serve you in the purpose of this work. Acknowledge and thank. Turn to the west. The west is water. Same thing. Doorway. Open it up and invite those healers in. The healers of the west and water. Inform them of your intention. Ask them to be present and help. Thank them for their presence and help. Close the doorway behind them, knowing nothing harmful can come through. Turning to the north to complete our circle, and then facing up to the sky, to the universal energy, to the masculine energy. Same thing, imagine a doorway at the ceiling of your sphere with that sacred symbol. Open that doorway up and call out to the universal masculine, to the universal life force energy. Join me in this circle today. Help me to release this anxiety. Close the door, knowing only the people, places, and things that are going to be helpful for you have come through that doorway. Then facing down, Mother Earth, the universal feminine. Again, imagining that doorway on the bottom of the sphere. Opening the doorway up and calling to the Great Mother, calling to the positive, feminine energy of the universe. Please join me in my sacred circle to help me let go of this emotion, this stress, this worry that's no longer serving me. Again, close the doorway, knowing only things that are going to help you have come into this circle. All right, now focus center. Focus on yourself, your higher being, your guides, your guardian angels, whoever you work with if you do, or if you want to even invite in a guide that you've not worked with before, but you're open to finding a new one to help you with this problem. You can do that as well. Set that intention. And again, just feel what comes into the circle with you. And feel a sense of gratitude for all the help that's here for you. Now again, state your intention really clearly. Could be the intention that over the next 2 weeks or between now and the next new moon that you become aware of your triggers. Note them all down in your journal. Understand why they're triggering you. And then, once you set that intention, you're going to light a candle. You could light a very large candle. If you've got a lot of worries, a lot of anxiety, you can etch onto the candle any kind of representation of the things that are holding you down, the things that are dragging down your energy, the things that aren't serving you, the habits that aren't serving you. You can etch them, some sort of representation on the candle. And then what you're going to do is light this candle over multiple days until it burns right down, completely burns down. So you might burn it for half an hour a day as you meditate and work on this problem in your life. Journaling about your triggers, trying to understand why they're triggering you and trying to let them go. And as the candle burns down, so will all of those triggers influence on you burn away. That's a long process. It's a big candle. You can do a smaller candle. You can even do a birthday candle if you don't have a lot of time. Whatever works for you, honestly. If you need to leave it to burn for a long time, like this one might burn overnight, for example, make sure that it's in a safe space so that it's not causing fire. Because I tell you what, there are a lot of witches who have burned down their houses. I was almost one of them. Thank God for the Boy Scouts selling popcorn. They saved my house because I left a candle burning. So seriously, be careful about your candles. Light your candle that represents the worry and stress and anxiety in your life, with the intention that as this candle burns down and disappears, so do your worries. Just take a moment to be grateful for that and know that it's true and know that it's happening and know that it's working. Now we're going to spend some time in meditation about the issues that are causing you distress. So ask your spirit guides, all these energies that you've brought in with you, to be present to help you to work through this pain and gain insight into your own patterns. Once you're done meditating and really building up this energy and feeling how these outside keys, these outside energetic forces can help you shift your energy, start to send healing vibes to your navel chakra. This is the chakra that governs our senses, our emotions, and our sensuality. This is where we feel a lot of that anger and depression, anxiety. And this helps to release those worrisome energies that aren't serving you anymore, right? Release where you're holding. Notice while you're healing that navel chakra, do you feel the anxiety somewhere else in your body? You feel the stress in your shoulders. Can you let the shoulders relax? Do you feel the stress in your hands? Are you balling up? Can you release your hands? Can you let them relax? Really pay attention to your body as you're sending positive energy to that chakra. See what your body is trying to tell you. Then send healing vibes to your heart and your root chakra, your hips, your sacrum. This helps to build healthy, supportive relationships. And it anchors your new way of feeling and reacting, responding, not reacting, in the real world. It's not just an intellectual world, right? We respond animalistically. That's human nature. But we can teach that out of ourselves. We can learn to take a breath, notice when we're reacting, and choose to respond. So spend some time on the heart and the root chakras. Then, if your candle hasn't burnt down, make sure it's safe. Thank your healers for being present. And then close your circle down for this moment. Then you're going to come back on the next full moon. So the time between the new moon and the full moon, you're growing understanding of the issue in your life. And you've been compiling a list of things that are triggering you and trying to understand what those triggers are. Now you're going to use universal energy to release the hold of these triggers that you've discovered on your life. And we do that with what's called distance healing or crystal grids. Crystal grids really are just a different kind of distance healing. So what we're going to do is we're going to build a grid. And like I did in the last video, I'll film this again from a different angle so that you can see it a little bit better. We're using this grid to remove the trigger's hold on our life. And we're going to keep this crystal grid active from the full moon to the next dark moon, to the next new moon. So you need to find a safe space for this grid. Cats really like crystals, so do babies, so do fairies. So put it in a safe space where it's not going to get knocked over or interrupted, but also in an easily accessible space because you want to access it every day. In this grid, I have used the 6 quartz crystals. These ones are specific for just generating and focusing energy. That's their purpose. Bringing all the attention to the main purpose. I've used carnelian here at the outer points to represent the things that I'm working on, the stress and anxiety. And I found a pointy part of the crystal and pointed it towards the inside to say, this focus, this is what I'm working on. I'm bringing this energy from my life here that I'm wanting to release into this crystal grid. And then I've included citrine in the middle, closer to what I want to work on, as an intention of the energy that I'm wanting to bring in. So this is a stone of confidence, of joy. It helps aid my concentration. So when I am stressed and anxious, I'm not focused, I'm scattered. It's happy and I'm uplifting, so it's shifting the vibes in my thought processes. It's good for relieving stress and anxiety and depression. It's an effective crystal to increase my mental clarity. We get foggy when we're anxious. And also to increase my motivation to make this change. And it helps me in finding my path in life. And I want that path to be focused on positive, not on anxiety. I'm also wearing amethyst. Amethyst is an easy one to find. You can incorporate it into your grid as well if you wanted to. Amethyst is for tranquil energy. It's really great for promoting calmness and reducing stress. It's another one that helps to increase our intuition, helps us to trust in the process of life. So once you've created this grid, you're going to charge it, okay? We do that with a master crystal. Actually, you don't even need a crystal. You can use your hands if you want to, but crystals are nice for sort of focusing the energy. In the center of the crystal is a representation of my anxiety. Now, you can put your candle there if it's appropriate. For example, this big one that you're working on, if it fits, could go right in the middle. If it doesn't fit, you could put a piece of paper with all of the worries in the middle. It's up to you. Any kind of representation, whatever works for you. If you put your just words in the middle, put another crystal on top. Ideally, a single pointed crystal that's focusing, laser focus on this particular issue that you're letting go of. Not like a cluster that kind of goes all over the place. Our brain's already foggy with the anxiety and the stress, but that's not what we want. We want laser focus. All right, so if you don't have a crystal, you can also just cone your hands together as if you were holding the crystal, because each and every one of your fingers is a chakra point that focuses energy in, so you can focus this way. Or if that's uncomfortable, I have arthritis in my thumbs, I find that really difficult to do, you can use your 2 power fingers. Or if you've got a wand, that works too. Again, intention is always the biggest thing. So, we start in the center. Ground and center yourself. think about the intention that you are putting into this crystal grid. And you'll want to have some sort of affirmation. For example, I release these triggers in my life, or I let go of the hold these triggers have in my life, or I am free of anxiety, or whatever works for you. But a straightforward affirmation. Start in the middle. Reach out to one of the crystals. Now, because we are releasing energy, we're moving counterclockwise around the circle. And that is because we are decreasing the energy of this experience in our life. So I release anxiety in my life. I release anxiety in my life. I release anxiety in my life. And you're going to do that several times, from the center to the second crystal over to the third, 3 times. Again, repeating your affirmation. Then from the center to the third, and then over to the fourth, 3 times. Again, from the fourth to the fifth, 3 times. From the fifth to the sixth, 3 times. From the sixth back to the first, 3 times. Now, if you have any kind of symbols that would be appropriate for this, for example, Reiki, a banishing pentagram, a counterclockwise spiral, even an X, and letting the shit go. Whatever you put that intention in and seal it with a symbol. A sigil, if you've created a sigil, you can put that here as well. And then just put your crystal down. Be thankful. Know that this is happening. It's true. It's working. Come back. Put some energy into your crystal grid every day. If you can, recharge it like we just did. If you don't have time to do that, just take a moment to stop and reset your intention. Be thankful and know that it's working, and do that from the from the full moon to the new moon. The energy is decreasing as the moon shrinks. All right. This has been an awesome ritual. I feel amazing, actually. I hope you feel amazing. I hope that you go off into the world and really put your time and effort into this experience, because it can make a huge difference in your life. And I look forward to now bringing nothing but positivity and amazing ki into our lives for the next 52 cards. We'll see you next week. Okay, everybody, I promised that I would show you this crystal grid a little bit more clearly. Again, I used carnelian, which is representative of the navel chakra and the emotions that I'm trying to let go of. I used citrine to help to clear away what isn't serving me, to clear my mind, focus me on where I want to be. And of course, the standard quartz crystals. These quartz crystals are the main focusers of the energy. And then I have my master crystal. And I have a center crystal that is single terminated, pointing up into the universe, asking to create the energy. Now remember, we talked about having a representation of what it is that we're trying to release in the middle of the crystal grid. And then we start. It doesn't matter where you start. As you'll notice, you've got a different angle than we had in the previous video. That's fine. There's no right or wrong start or finish. It's just where you're at. What matters is the direction that you go around the grid. Are you trying to decrease something in your life or increase something in your life? So clockwise, if this is 12 and this is 6, decreasing goes backwards, increasing goes forwards in time. All right, so remember, you start in the center and then you go towards crystal number 1. And because we're decreasing, we're going counterclockwise to crystal number 2, back into the center. And you do that 3 times. chanting your affirmation. And then from center to crystal 2 to crystal 3. Again, 3 times. Chanting your affirmation of release. From crystal 3 to crystal 4. All the way around until you come back to 1, and you're going to seal from 6 to 1 the same way. So you actually do crystal 1 twice. Then put in your intention. Spend some time focusing all of your energy, all the energy that you've built up over the last 2 weeks into the grid with the intention that this grid now call into your life the people, places, and things necessary to help you let go of these triggers in your life. And then walk away just knowing it's going to work. And I tell you what, guys, it works. If you follow this moon process of releasing at the full moon and increasing at the new moon, you will notice a big change in your life.